to progress the movement and to modify the movement to what feels right for your body. So we are going to start just sitting up today. So just I'm going to see if I can get the camera at the right angle so you can all see what I'm doing also. I think that's going to be just fine. So just have a seat on your mat and welcome if you were just joining. We're going to do some deep focused breath. I also hope you can read my t-shirt today. I think it's very true for what we're going through, burning off the crazy a little bit. So we're going to start by getting some good deep breathing into our lungs and into our full body, so we're getting that full, nice core stability and core strength as well, along with all the other health benefits of a full breath. And we're going to use the roller for this too. So just have a seat. I'm sitting with my legs crossed. You can probably not see me all the way here, but just have my legs crossed. So go ahead and grab your roller. I'm going to back up a little bit more even. And I want you to start by just holding the roller in front of you and then letting it very carefully lift overhead, and just see where you want to be here. So this is going to open up our lungs. And once we get to this point, just taking a deep breath in and full breath out. Deep breath in. So holding the roller overhead is helping to expand our lungs a little bit, just like when we're stretching out in the pool, or just when we're stretching all the way. So now you can just actually let your arms extend up as you breathe in, really filling up the lungs, and then exhale, lower the arms down. You can let the arms go down below the shoulders if you like, and then start over again. Just breathe in, lift those arms up, exhale, relax down. Do that 2 more times. Inhale deeply. Exhale. 1 more time. Deep breath in. And out. And then we let the arms relax for a moment here. Just shake out the shoulders a little bit. So we still tend to get most of the upper chest and rib cage to expand and open up when we breathe like this. So we will take a little bit of a process there the first few minutes of class to really get that lower deep breath going. But here's a little side stretch now to open up the sides. So you can lift the roller again. And for this, keep your elbows soft, especially if you have tight shoulders here. We're going to just go a little bit to the side and just stretch and open. Exhale as you reach over. Inhale, come back to center. Exhale, reach over. Inhale, back to center. And easy, easy here. While you're doing this, you can focus a little bit on your core stability too. Just feel like you're really grounded in your hips and in your pelvis. Try to sense your pelvic floor here, keeping you grounded, keeping you level through your hips. Here we go, 2 more times. Back. And 1 more time. And then we take a deep breath and lower arms down. Let the shoulders relax. Very good. And now place a roller in front of you. And depending on how much flexibility we have in our hips and in our shoulders and lower back, you can do this as far forward or as little as you want. But I want you to just place your hands on top of the roller, scoop your belly in a little bit to keep the lower back really long here, and then take a full breath in, so you're nice and tall to start. On the breath out, you're just going to drop the chin to the chest and roll the roller forward, opening up the back. Then take a deep breath in, and then roll the roller back out again, or back to you again. So deep breath in here. Exhale, curl and scoop here. Lengthen out, feel like you're stretching out through the lower back. Deep breath in. Exhale, come back. And trying to really experience the breath with all this. You feel like you're breathing into the lower lobes of the lungs. Here we go, 1 more time. Deep breath in. Exhaling back. And last one here. Take a full deep breath in. Exhale, scoop the abdominals, roll, and let the body just stretch out as far as you want to go here. Keep the lower back long. Full breath in. Exhale, come back up. And release. Very nice. Now let's get up on the roller. So you can place the roller. I'm trying to figure out which way to turn here so you can see me the best. We're going to come back onto your back. So just rolling back. Spread your arms out to the sides. Very carefully place your head and your tailbone on the roller, so you have support for both here. We're just going to start with a little balance work first, and this is going to connect our abdominals nicely. You're going to keep a neutral spine, so you want to have that scoop or that little pocket of air underneath the small of your back here, but without arching. So we're relaxed in those lumbar extensors. Abdominals engaged. We take a full breath in, just lifting one foot to tabletop. This is pretty simple. And then take another breath, lift the other foot to tabletop. But think while you're doing this that you try to make it really quiet. So in other words, the ribs are staying tucked, the pelvis is level the whole time. I'm keeping my fingertips on the floor and trying to keep the shoulders relaxed here. So progressing the movement here can mean that we're just loosening up on the fingertips on the floor. So instead of using all 5 fingertips, using maybe 3 or 4. And maybe going down to 2 fingertips. Maybe going down to 1 fingertip. And then to 0. We need to prepare before we get ourselves to 0. Just see if you can then let your arms just hover by your sides. And continuing that walk here, easy, easy. And again, it all hinges on our breath and our core connection here and that sense of balance. So if you can't get our hands all the way off the floor, that's okay. Just keeping 1 fingertip or 2 fingertips here, whatever feels right for your body. Very good. And then we come back to release. Now setting your feet back down. Take a full breath in. And now we do an imprint here. We're going to go into some leg exercises. So just take a full breath in. On the breath out, scoop and let the lower back actually close the space underneath the small of your back. On the breath in, opening up again. Exhale, close the space. Back. 2 more times here. And down. 1 more time, we're closing the space underneath and we stay connected here. So again, quiet ribs, we bring the arms. This time you need to hold on, so hopefully you have your hands on the floor. We're going to go up with both feet into tabletop, staying up there. And now closing the legs together and try to lower both feet down. So that's a lot more work here for your abdominals. So take it small, start small here, just lowering down. Come back up. And again, try to practice keeping the shoulders out of it as much as we can here. And again, it all hinges on that breath, really keeping the breath deep into the rib cage. And blowing the air out through the mouth if you can, and that's going to help to really get your abdominals to engage. So 2 more times, make it small if you feel a lot of this in your lower back. 1 more time. And then we set our feet back down 1 foot at a time here. And noticing, even though we say to ourselves, relax the shoulders, they always get up there, they always get involved. It never fails. So now let's focus a little bit on the upper body here. So we're going to bring the arms up. And while we're doing this, I want you to walk your feet a little bit closer together on the floor, just so you feel a little bit more of that involvement of the core here. And again, let's do this in neutral spine. So let's get that little space open underneath the small of your back. And just keeping that open. I'm going to stretch the arms up over the shoulders and just doing a little scapula protraction and retraction. So the protraction is arms going up. You pull the shoulder forward and pull the shoulder blade up. And the retraction is the opposite, where the shoulder blade goes down into the roller. So we can do both back to back here. Protracting on the breath in, retracting on the breath out. And you can feel that this sort of relates to our breath too. It feels very intuitive to breathe in and lift the arms away. It feels intuitive to breathe out and push the shoulder blades back. We're keeping that scoop here. Do that a couple more times. Loosening up the shoulders. And then finding what would be like the middle ground here between the two, where the shoulder can sort of rest inside the socket a little bit, feel comfortable. And then we start our scissor here. And I want you to pulse twice with each of these, reach and reach. And while you're doing it, take your feet a little bit closer still. Try to walk them together as close as you can get while still staying on your roller here. Two short breaths here for every scissor. Reach and reach. For 4 and 3 and 2 and 1, and then coming back here. Now let the arms stay over the shoulders just as you were here. And now let's see how close together we can get the feet. Can we get them to actually connect all the way here? Can you keep your knees together? Then we're going to open the arms out to the sides and close them back. And this exercise is even better to do if you have weights, but it works even without weights. Do this now with one arm going out to the side, and then bring it back. Other arm going out to the side. Oh, this is hard. I'm bringing it back. If you have your feet together right now, it's going to be a little bit challenging to stay on the roller, and that's exactly the point here. Trying to really challenge that core stability. If I'm looking at you, I'm going to fall off my roller. So you're trying to really keep your core system strong here. Fighting the urge to follow that arm. And then come back to release. Very good. So before we come down from the roller here, I'm going to continue working on the core. And we want to just do a little bit of a stretch for the pec and shoulder. So you're going to take your arms overhead, and just be careful if we're still warming up here, so just listen to your body. Your arms go up overhead, and then we just bend our elbows down to our sides here. So you feel that stretch right in the top of the shoulder, and then stretching the arms up overhead again. Deep breath in, exhale, bring the elbows to the sides. And just sort of let gravity do what it wants to do here, pulling your shoulder and your elbow and your hand down towards the floor, and then stretching back up again. And this really invites a deep breath too. It feels kind of nice to do it. So here we go, 2 more times. Up and down. 1 more time, up and down, and then coming back down to release. Very good. So let's come down from the roller now. We will come down to the floor, and let's place the roller down by our feet. I'll turn around so hopefully you can still see me here. And just place your feet on top of the roller. Come back onto your back. And we're going to do a little combination exercise here. And we're going to start by continue to work the core first. We just place our hands behind our head and just lifting up. Really easy work here to start, just curling up. I'm in a neutral spine right now, so I keep that same tailbone on the floor, keeping a little groove underneath the small of our back. And then I can add to that, so I can let my feet actually roll out and then roll the roller in. So you're trying to get yourself up as high as you can with your upper body, almost trying to lift your shoulder blades off, but without smashing the lower back to the floor here. Very good. So we're getting everything going here. So we're going to roll it up, come back down, and now rest for a second here. And now let's get our lower body involved a little bit more. So wrapping your feet around the roller and lifting up into a bridge. And we can do this step by step. So you can curl up a little bit here just to warm up first, get the glutes involved, and then curl and roll back down. Very soft roll up and roll down here. So exhale, lift and roll up through the spine, push the shoulder blades down, and then exhale, roll back down to release here. One more time, just rolling through, lifting and lowering. And then we get into a little faster movement here, but you want to stay in a neutral spine now and bring some energy to it. So you exhale up, inhale down. Exhale up to that bridge, inhale, just touch the tailbone down. Up and down. Breathe out, breathe in. So work for the glutes here, so press up. If it's too much to do this on the roller, maybe you're feeling like your hamstring's about to cramp, then come down to the floor and just skip the roller for this part, since we're still kind of warming up the legs a little bit. May not have the glutes quite there yet. So listen to your body here, see what you want to do. Pressing up. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Very good. Come back to release. Now we stay here. We're going to walk the feet together. Then we do a little release from there. So you turn out into diamond, roll the feet down and away, and then bring your feet back up again. Turn out into diamond here. This feels really nice on the hips. We just stretch out those inner thighs, then come back up again. Exhale on the first half here, you're rolling down. Inhale as we come back up to that tabletop again. So a lot of the exercises today are going to sort of move back and forth between being exertion, hard work, and a release. So especially the first half will be more exertion and work, and the second half will be more release work. But you'll find that it switches back and forth. Some of the myofascial work that we do is very much a workout, because you have to use your hands and your elbows for a lot of it here. Here we go, a couple more times, rolling out those hips. And then come back to release from there. Very nice. Great. So let's come face down from there. We're going to work on our back a little bit here. So just go ahead and turn around. We'll come face down. Place the roller now in front of you. And stretch the legs out behind you here. I'll move up a little bit so you can see me. Hopefully, I'm going to figure out the best camera angle here so we don't have the sun too much interfering. But I want you to stretch your arms out, and to start with here, this is going to be a small exercise, just getting a little bit of movement in the mid-back. So soft fingers here. Then go ahead and breathe in from the bottom, scoop the belly in, and roll the roller just so it reaches the chin here, and then rolling it out again. It's very tempting to make more out of this, to go up higher and start using our arms, but think like you're really just trying to roll your fingertips with very light pressure. I think like playing piano here, so it's just like you're touching the roller, but you're not really pushing into it. And you're still working from the lower body, so you can think about the glutes here, you can think about the core and how that connects into all of this. And over time here, it starts to feel a little bit easier to come up and make that little back bend for the upper back here. I'm going to stay out there, so you're going to roll the roller out and actually keep your arms extended on top. And your nose can just point down towards the ground here. And now we're going to press a little bit of weight into our arms and try to actually pick up the rib cage off the floor and then releasing it back down. So it's sort of a movement that doesn't really show much physical movement here. It's more about, can I lift my rib cage up without lifting anything else? It looks easy, but it takes a lot of power here. So you want to scoop the belly in. It's almost like we're getting a punch to the gut here. You try to really pull in that solar plexus to get yourself up off the floor. It's also tempting to really press into our arms here, but try to use as much abdominal work as you can and as little arm and shoulder as you can. Exhale, scoop everything in. You might feel your glutes here a little bit too, that's okay. Do a couple more. Last one here. And From here now, let's go into a little child's pose, get a little back release after all the work. So just sit back into your heels, stretch out the body. Feel free to use the roller here too. You can have that as a little prop for your arms, etc. Deep breath here. Very good. Take another full breath in, and when you're ready to come back up again, go ahead and do so. Make sure to roll up through the spine. Give yourself time to release out of that child's pose here. How is everyone feeling? Pretty good? Yeah. All right, so now time for some good abdominal work. We're going to get up on the roller again, and we're going to go through our leg series with some variation. And a lot of this is done in imprint simply because it's a little safer for the back. But if you feel like you need to or want to do this in a neutral spine, meaning having that little bit of space, you can do so. So just kind of seeing what works for your body here. So we're going to come back into our back, just like we were a couple of minutes ago. And again, the other thing I should say about, we can take breaks too. So you can stop a little sooner if you want, if you feel like you've had enough for each of these exercises. Best part here, the head gets to stay down. I know for a lot of people that's one of the things that we struggle with, is to keep the neck supported. Here it's just going to rest on the roller. So I want you to go into a soft imprint to start. Bring the hands out to the sides here and walk your feet back up into that tabletop again. So we're finding out where that is. And then we're going to just start with a little leg extension. So we're going from tabletop out to 45 degrees. It doesn't look like much, but we are working our core here. So starting with a nice scooping the abdominals, softening the shoulders, and then pressing out here. Inhale back, exhale out. And you can work your own level into this. So level 1 is going to be a little higher, and level 2 is going to be a little further down, and level 3, you're going to try to almost be parallel with the floor here, really try to challenge those abdominals. And of course, it gets harder to imprint then as you increase the level. So you see what works best for your body here. And a nice variation, I know a lot of people like this, is to just go into turnout with it. So instead of having your legs connected, you're starting with diamond legs and you extend from there. And you can also flex and point your feet to get a little lower leg and ankle work into it too. Very good. And then we pause here for a second, put our feet back down and rest. Take a little break. Now releasing out of that imprint, going back to a neutral spine. Keep your feet on the floor and then place our hands behind our head. You're doing a crisscross on the roller, so you're going side to side. There's a little bit of a lift in this exercise, but it's mostly about the rotation, small rotation here, and keeping a neutral hip, a neutral pelvis. So it's actually challenging just to balance on the roller while doing this. But if you want to challenge yourself even further, you can try to bring in the opposite foot. So marching up here into a little tabletop takes a lot of work. My little trick for this is to start with the feet a little wider, and that makes it a little bit easier. Still hard to balance, but it can be a good way to get yourself up to the next level here. Very good work, everybody. I can see you through your camera. See the work that you're doing here. And then we come back, and now again, let the head just rest here, so no involvement of the neck. Hands go back to the diagonals, and you can go back to your imprint. In fact, I think most people are going to like to do this imprint. It's just hard, so we feel a little bit more supported. So feet come back down to tabletop, and then they're going to continue up. So if you can, keep the legs straight here. If you need to keep the knees soft, that's okay. Now we're lowering the legs straight down and up here. Breathe in to lift up. Breathe out to lower down. And back. Very good. Keeping the inner thighs connected. Feeling that core power here. From the waist down, from the ribs down, we're working. And without the breath, we can't do this. We really have to focus on that deep breathing here. Very good. We set the feet down just for that small little break here. And the final exercise of the legs here is we're going to do scissor. So same positioning of the back, same positioning of the legs to start. They come up, softening through the shoulders. Can separate the feet a little bit and just go for a small scissor to start here. Reach for two. Reach for two. But gravity will sort of take us down a little bit further. So at some point you're going to find that bottom leg is going to want to reach towards the floor. If you hear something here, it's my cat eating his dinner. I want to be part of this too. So reach for two. Reach for two. Staying connected. Where can I keep my imprint? Boy, this is hard work. You can bend one of both legs here too if you want to modify. 4, 3, 2, 1, and we come back to release. Whew. Take a breath to relax. Very nice work, everybody. We're going to come off the roller now. Roll down. Do opening exercises for the back and for the hips after that work we just did. So we're going to come back onto our back and placing the roller underneath our sacrum. So it's between the lower back and the tailbone here. Comfortable place to work, I would say. And we're just going to stay there for a moment. And then when you feel ready to do so, try to extend one leg and to see how that hip is opening up. And then bring the other knee to your chest. Really great stretch for the hip flexors. But what's different here is I'm trying to rest my bottom leg on the floor without arching the back. So try to have your same neutral spine, but letting the bottom foot rest on the floor if you can. And you continue to pull the top knee to your chest at the same time. And then switching legs here, be careful when you switch. Slide the foot out, scoop the belly, pick the other knee up here, and then see if you can pull that tighter side. Feeling that opening here, that stretch through the top of the hip. And then we're going to set both feet back down and walk our way back to a bridge. So we're just going to do a short bridge here, just to kind of get our glutes back in the game a little bit. So I want you to keep a neutral spine and staying on your roller now and just pretend that you're actually trying to lift into a bridge beyond what the roller is doing. So you started on the roller and then you're just going to lift to whatever's left until we get to a full bridge here. So small little movement coming up and down. It takes a lot of work even to create a little bit of space here in between. And we want to make sure it's coming from the glutes and the hips. We're not arching the back, we're not bending onto our neck here. We're keeping the weight of our body on our shoulder blades and on our feet as we're doing this. So press to lift, and then lower, press to lift, and then lower, and back. Very good. And then thinking when we're going to do this and really getting those glutes to fire. And then thankfully we can do the follow-up exercise without actually having to lift, but having the same sensation as if you were still lifting. Now level 1, extend the right leg up here. You're keeping your weight on the roller and keep the left leg bent. If you're ready for level 2, what you want to do is slide the left leg down. There's a deeper stretch and a little more work for your core here. We're going to circle the right leg around and then pause at the top. Circle, pause. Very steady hip complex here, no matter where you are on your roller, whether you have the left leg bent or straight, keeping those glutes engaged and supporting the whole movement all the way throughout. Also want to keep my ribs quiet here, so there's no poking of the ribs out, they're staying connected the whole time. Let's switch around now, so going the same leg but circling the foot clockwise. The most common mistake I think we do is we bring the leg way up high instead of way down low. Down low means more core work, which is good for us. Up high means we're grinding the hip, not so good. So think like you're aiming for that circle, that oval shape away from you to maximize the benefit here. And let's switch sides now so we can lower the right leg down, rest that side, bring the left leg up, wherever that foot wants to be, and then circle the left side in a clockwise direction first. Pause in between each circle, perfecting that form. Slide the right foot down if you want a little more work. It's all about where we can keep those hips stabilized here. And let's circle the other direction now, down and away. Reach away from you as far as you can. Very good work, everybody. And then we set the foot back down there, coming back to release, and then releasing off the roller, so just sliding it out and rolling the spine back to the floor again. So we're going to roll to our side and come up to all four from there. And we have almost finished our Pilates portion of the class, getting ready for our myofascial portion of the class. We have a couple more more exercises I want us to do first. So let's come up into all four, and this, I think this is really hitting every body part that we want to work on at the same time. So we're going to come to our elbows. You can do this on your hands too. I prefer to be on my elbows just because it really is so much easier on the wrists, and it tends to target the core a little bit more. So coming to your elbows on the roller. We started doing this, I think, a couple of weeks ago when we did this class. So this will be sort of similar, maybe adding some things on it. So what I want you to do first is just lifting up and down with your knees. So you're creating a little bit of space here, up and down. Okay. Very good. And you can see my back is neutral and it doesn't really move here. We're trying to keep that form of just lifting and lowering, and the lower back is supported the whole time. Great, so then we progress this. So this is the next step. We lift up and we'll go for a little walk. But again, you want to keep that delta muscle around the waist and the back really connected here, so you feel like you're staying in the game. Not taxing anything besides your core. Very good. Okay, so if we manage to do this well, we're ready for what's coming next. We're going to trade places now. Now you're going to be on your hands. You can still be on your elbows too, but the level is going to change because I want you to roll your roller down to your lower legs. And we get a little myofascial roll here for the shins too. But we're going to try to just get ourselves up in a tabletop, just like we were. You can get down onto your elbows if you want to. That works fine here. And we're going to start and keep our neutral spine and just roll the roller in and then bring it out here. Roll the roller in, bring it out. So same muscles, but we get a little bit different movement going. It helps to have long pants on. It's kind of a lot of pressure on the lower leg. Now we can go a little bit further out with the roller. You could actually get yourself into almost a full plank and then tuck it in here. Now if you start to do the tuck, you can add a little C curve at the end and then get yourself back to neutral. Now remember, these are progressions. So if you don't want to do this, just do a smaller movement. Come to your elbows with it, whatever works for your body. One more thing I want to show those of you who are really looking for a challenge here. So you can do this with one leg extended out, and then the legs trade places here. Right, so one knee goes out, one knee goes in, and you just keep that going for as long as we can on one side, and then we trade places here. with a roller. It's a lot of work, so I haven't even tried this on the elbows, but you get the idea. So finding our level, working it out. And then when you're ready to come back to release, go ahead and do so. This is tough. So I think now we feel warmed up and ready to do our myofascial release. We haven't done a ton of work for the glutes today, but I still want to roll this area out because I think it's so important for us. I don't know if you do a lot of hiking or running or biking on your own, but we do tend to get very tight in our sides. So even sitting can be part of what gets us very tight. So we're going to start with a lower body roll out first. And while we kind of switch gears, grab some water. Now this is talking about fascia. Fascia is body tissue that really benefits from good hydration. And let me take a sip of water as I'm saying this. When we don't hydrate enough, the fascia gets tight and stiff. So there's one more good reason for us to drink a lot of water, drink a lot of fluids. Keep it hydrated, keep it looser. The fascia is made of collagen, and the collagen really benefits of good hydration, among other things. Okay, so we're going to start on the side. I'm going to work our way through the glutes, IT band. We get over more on the quadriceps side here and in the deep hip flexor, and then we switch sides. So it doesn't matter which side you want to start on. You get to do both. But and like I said earlier too, it's surprisingly hard on the upper body to do this. So I try to do the hardest part of the myofascial rolling first, and then we kind of get into what's a little bit easier. A lot of wrist work, a lot of shoulder work, so just take breaks as needed here. So the first thing we're going to do is kind of get onto the glutes a little bit and roll out. Hi, Kitty. This is OJ. Hi. What's a big part? Of course, a cat, right? That's what I want to do. They always want to steal the show. All right, so we're rolling the outside of the hip and glute to start. Kind of get that glute maximus. Now here's a little add-on that you can try. If you can, cross the top leg or the side that you're rolling, cross that leg on top of the other leg here, getting into the little bit of the piriformis, right? And you might feel like there's some trigger points that are jumping out there, so just giving them a little bit of extra love here. Very good. Then we're going to go sideways. So you're going to rotate your whole body onto the side and work the part of the side here that's above your trochanter. So you're close to your waistline here, and you're going to roll up towards the iliac crest of the pelvis and roll down just to the top of the hip here. So it's not a big area. And this may or may not be super painful. It's okay if it isn't. But then we're going to get down below the trochanter. So make a little leap with our hip so the roller gets underneath that thigh bone. And now I'm going to use my other leg to support and then roll from that trochanter all the way down to my knee and then back up again. And throughout all of this, it can be helpful to breathe deeply and focus on the breath work too. Also think about body positioning, that we're not sinking too much into our shoulder, into our hip. We try to hold on to that core that we work. Those of you who feel like you're ready for it, you can let the top leg join the bottom leg, and that's of course going to be more pressure on that IT band here. Very good. Whew. And now just make a little bit of a tilt here. I'm going to use my top leg to rotate my body just halfway downwards, and you're getting into the lateral part of the quads. This sometimes is the most painful of all. You kind of gunk together with the IT band, and the fascia gets very, very stiff here, so you roll it up. And then we can turn downwards even more. So now we're getting straight onto that quadricep, and we roll that. And you can use the other leg now for support. So if you bend the knee and just place the inside of the knee on the roller, now you have a little more control over it. And you can let go so you don't have to use all of your upper body. You can let your pelvis and that leg support your body weight too. And we can get some really good movement here. So you can roll all the way onto your hip and roll all the way down towards your knee and then back up again. I mean, it's not that different from the exercise we did a minute ago here in terms of the amount of core work that's actually required to get through these movements. So just take a moment now before you switch side and just make a little comparison to what one side feels compared to the other. So there might be a little sore, but it might also just feel like there's a rush of energy through that leg, and that's exactly what we want here. So now let's switch sides. And let's start over the same way with the glute first. A little up higher, you're probably using the hand for support here. And roll a little bit on the outside, roll a little bit on the back. And this again, we can add on by crossing the top leg and moving around a little bit on that piriformis. So a tight piriformis can cause sciatica. It's not the only reason why we get sciatica, but it can be one reason. So we want to be good to our small rotator muscles here of the glutes. So now let's turn our body sideways. We're going to rotate over the roller. I'm going to move my weight onto my elbow and just get a little pocket between my thigh bone and my iliac crest. So glute medius and minimus location here. Very good. And then we take the roller on a longer journey here from the trochanter all the way down towards the knee and then back up again. Each area can be rolled out for about 20 seconds, 30 seconds tops, no matter how tight it feels here. And then for those of you who want to bring both legs into it, get a little more pressure and intensity on that IT band, and work your way closer to the knee and closer to the trochanter. That's where it tends to really get tight here. So feel where you hold the tension there. Very good. Now let's turn the leg just a couple of degrees here down and get onto that very painful area of the lateral quads. Spend about 20 seconds there. Use the core. And now, when we're ready to do so, we flip all the way facing down here. Now placing your supporting leg on the roller with that inner inside of the knee. The other leg can be straight here, and you can let that foot just float off the floor, and then go all the way to your hip, and then roll all the way down to your knee, and then back up again. Using the elbows to pull yourself forward, using the core to pull yourself forward, and to get a nice release here on the way back. And you can, I'll just mention this too, that sometimes it just feels good to just work that very top crease of the hip too. So if that's a trigger point for you, that can be a really good way to release some of the very tight anterior hip muscles. And then we come up to release from there. Very good. Okay, so let's take care of the back of the legs a little bit here too. One more sequence that requires a lot of upper body for us. So just placing the roller underneath our legs and using your hands or knuckles to lift yourself up, and then rolling the back of the thigh from the top of the hamstring down to the knee. So much easier than what we just did here. And we can get a little momentum on the rollers, so it's a little easier for the core as well. You can turn the feet in. And turn the feet out, and notice you get a little different parts of the body here. Very good. Okay, so now taking care of the lower part of the leg too, so all you need to do is to smooth the roller down further. Start with both legs on there, doing the same thing. Rolling the calves. And again, turn out. Stay parallel. Turn in. We often forget about the lower leg. We often forget about the calf muscles. So then we want to help them out. And those of you who are ready to do so, you can do one leg at a time. Just cross the other leg over, and then you can roll one leg. It's not too intense here. Ooh, that hurts. And then the other side too. Good for the Achilles tendon, good for our ankles to roll at the lower legs here. And we come back to release from there. Very good. Okay, so now the arms are going to get a break, and we're going to try to roll out the back a little bit more. We're just going to start with our mid-back today. So place the roller, this is the feel-good part of our workout. We're going to place the roller underneath the ribs and the mid-back, and you're going to want to cradle your head, kind of make a little cocoon here with your elbows, so really closing it up nicely, and then lift if you have long hair, get the ponytail out of the way, and then roll from your rib cage, the lower ribs, up to the scapula area, and then back down again. And there will be a little bit of an undulating movement here in your spine, but you try to keep it pretty straight, so it's just going up, and then back down. Breathe as you feel, as it comes naturally here, but make sure you don't hold your breath. It can be intense. So if we haven't done this in a while, or if we're sitting a lot, you'll hear all kinds of things crackling and popping in our back. So, and there's nothing wrong with rolling onto one shoulder, giving that shoulder a little extra work, a little extra release here. So rolling onto one scapula can be okay. Just be gentle. And you can get up as high as your upper thoracic, but avoid the neck area here. So we want to stay below the neck. And then you can get as low as the lower ribs, but not onto your kidneys. So a thoracic release. And then we can do a little release work, and just see, did I increase my flexibility? Dropping over the edge a little bit. Not so much to do more ab work, but just to get a little bit of movement in the spine. Fan the elbows out wide. Breathe in, breathe out to curl up. If you want to hang down there, you can. Make sure you support your head if you're doing that. And when you're ready to do so, go ahead and come back up and release. Very nice. So finally, we're going to take care of the lats and the tricep, and then we're going to do a nice little relaxation sequence here too. So let's have you come to your side, and we're targeting the latissimus dorsi, a little bit of the serratus here, so we can kind of get into the armpit and that area of the body. You're kind of reclining almost. I'm sitting sort of in a little mermaid pose here, and then just reclining onto that side, rolling back and forth. And again, you can turn up to the ceiling to get more of the back here, and you can rotate forward a little bit more to get more of the serratus. It tends to be a little bit uncomfortable. You get the teres minor and major. These are some muscles too that really control a lot of the shoulder and arm work. They tend to be very tender. And then just getting right onto our tricep here. So you're turning your focus, and you're turning your head down towards that arm, and just use the other hand to roll the roller up and down here. Down as far as your elbow, where it tends to be tighter, and up as far as your top of your arm there. And it's time to switch sides. Let's try the other side, see how that works. Just notice too if you're right-handed or left-handed, if there's one side that really stands out here that's tighter or feels like it needs this work. So, and it can even be like what side we're sleeping on. But we started first, again, with the latissimus dorsi. This arm is just extended out. Use your other hand to gently pull the roller back and forth. I'm also pushing off a little bit with my legs here to get through it. If you have a shoulder injury, or you've had a shoulder injury, it's sort of like it never completely leaves, right? The fascia remembers the injury and may hold on to it. So we might find that that soreness is still there. So it's really good to roll it out here. Get that energy to release. And when you feel ready to do so, just turn your focus to your upper arm, to your tricep. You can even move the arm inwards and outwards a little bit here. I'm turning it back and forth, inside and outside, just to give that arm a little extra attention here. It's good to also remember when it comes to the fascia, I mean, it's a tissue that really stretches through the whole body. So where we might experience tension may not necessarily be the area that's going to have an effect on. So you might roll out your neck and shoulders, and what you're doing is releasing your lower back. So this has a lot of sort of benefits that extend beyond what we can sense here. So hopefully feeling pretty good. We have rolled everything out. In the last few minutes, we're going to spend just being relaxed and do a little bit of a cool down. And I wanted to read something to you while you're getting yourself ready for your cool down. So just make yourself as comfortable as possible with your roller if you like, or no roller. But just come back onto your back here. Hopefully you have a soft surface or a mat. Feel free to cover up your eyes and really getting yourself into what we call Shavasana in yoga, but just your relaxation pose here. Just to give you an idea, you can use the roller underneath your legs, either with the knees just over it, or with the knees turned out here, keeping my legs in a little bit of a diamond and placing the soles of the feet together. This helps to really open up and relax the lower back. And you can let your arms just drop to your sides here. And once you're in that position, once you're in that pose, allow yourself to close your eyes here. So hopefully you found your relaxation pose here. And I want to read you this quote that I found online from a psychotherapist that was talking about what we're experiencing right now, or have experienced in the last couple of months. Just reflecting on that a little bit. You are coping with each day as you go through something exceedingly stressful and strange. Something that there is no roadmap for. And that's an accomplishment worthy of the biggest check mark of all in your day planner. We are in the middle of something very stressful. Your brain has been taxed in ways that it has never been expecting, even as you remain grateful for your job and for your health and for your loved ones. Don't underestimate the mental and physical energy that it takes to completely overhaul your day-to-day existence, calculating threats constantly and having to rethink even the most basic of decisions. So just allowing ourselves to recognize, to just going through our day and navigating what we're experiencing takes a lot of energy, takes a lot of awareness. It may be draining, may be stressful. And I want to end the quote with the following. Fear just means that you've forgotten how deeply you are loved, how safe you are, and that happiness will return like you've never known it before. So just allow your body and your mind to feel how deeply we are loved and how safe we are. As we take our deep breath in and out. And letting your next breath in be a little deeper. Gently turning your head side to side. Feeling your fingers and toes. And letting your arms extend overhead so you can stretch your whole body out. And when you feel ready to do so, go ahead and gently bring your knees to your chest. Gently rock side to side. And then rolling onto one side. We take another deep breath before we come up to a seated position again. And once we're sitting, we'll just take another full deep breath in. Full breath out. Deep breath in. Full breath out. And a deep breath in for good health. And bring your hands together. Thank you, class. Thank you all. Thank you for being here.